Item 13, Mr Mayor, the sponsorship application from Donald Investment Group.
Thank you. Item 13 from Councillor Batten. Councillor Durkin.
Item 6, the Merrill Minute.
Item 6, the Merrill Minute. Thank you. Anything further? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Item 3 is declarations for political donations. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Travers, seconded by Councillor Durkin. Anything to declare? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Item 4 is the Merrill Minute of Appointments. I've tabled a report. Does anybody else have anything for the Merrill Minute of Appointments? Councillor Nash has already tabled a report. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, if I could table a report as well, but just to elucidate on that quickly, to thank council staff for a couple of things. One was that on the weekend I attended the Fairbridge Children's Park opening, and the overwhelming feedback from that association was of thanks to our staff who maintained that to a high standard and had that park looking magnificent. So pass on my thanks to them. And the other one is, as you're aware, Mr Mayor, this council's been pretty big in putting a bigger emphasis into our community and economy section, and I just want to acknowledge Laura, Rebecca and Emma for the work they did on Sunday in particular under some trying circumstances, and the goalpost moving continually due to the weather, but they adapted at every step and were fantastic with our community and stakeholders. So just want to acknowledge them as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I'd just like to mention on the 16th of March we had our CTAC meeting. On the 16th of March we had our CTAC meeting, and it was lovely to welcome Rebecca to our committee, and it looks like a really positive committee at the moment, so hopefully we'll all go forward from this point on. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Batten.
Yeah, 3 quick ones, Mr Mayor. On the 17th, I attended the Canolbasone Bushfire Liaison Committee meeting along with the Deputy General Manager Infrastructure, and I've got business papers here if people would like to have a look. The second thing is Cumnock Progress Association following night on the 18th, and again our new leader, community and economy attended that along with us, and I think that was very well accepted actually, that she made the effort to come along to Cumnock Progress. The third one was that I deputised for your good self at the presentation of prizes at the New South Wales Sheepdog Championships on Saturday. And those championships, as we know, bring a good amount of money into the Molong economy every year. And in accepting the award for the top dog of the day, actually Nick Hudson acknowledged the standard of the facility, and his opinion is that it's the best in Australia. So, and he wanted that passed on. Congratulations to the staff of Cabonne Council who maintain that facility. So, congratulations to the staff, Mr General Manager, if you'd like to pass that on. And the other thing, if I can just also reiterate what Deputy Mayor had to say in regard to the efforts of our staff on the weekend under those very trying circumstances of the rain with the March Music Month. Small numbers, but it was a very successful an event, so we got to enjoy some good music. The people who didn't turn up, it was their loss.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Even the weather event even affected the notice boards. I noticed that they went haywire as well. Anything further for the Merrill Minute of Appointments? Nothing? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 5 is the Merrill Minute for the Country Mayors Association regarding the country mayors, yes, about the emergency services levy. Just in general discussion, You can see the Country Mayor's resolution there that Country Mayors calls on the state government to work with country mayors and local government New South Wales to develop and implement an emergency services levy. I spoke about this, Mayor from Blaney, Scott Ferguson, also spoke, and so did the Mayor Reg Kidd. It was a lengthy discussion on this matter, and it was even adjourned to after morning tea for us to come up with a resolution. So it was well and truly received, and that's the end result, was that resolution. So it was all unanimous. So it was quite a good resolution at Country Mayors. So,
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we're preparing the budget as we speak, and we've had to put in 670,000, I think it is, for that levy this year, which is a substantive impact on our operation expenditure. So we are hoping that a rebate appears, like it has done in the last couple of years, but it's a big impact, Council.
yeah, and it was thanks to Brad for supplying the information to me in that address too. There was a big impact, just saying that effectively that was the equivalent to 2.5 kilometres of resheeting that the ratepayers don't get now because of that increase. And you saw nods of heads amongst other mayors and other general managers, just to bring it back to real terms, that it's effectively 2% of everybody's rates that is going to this levy. So yeah, thanks for that too. GM? I'll put that, if there's no further discussion, I'll put that. All those in favour? Aye. Against, that's carried. Item 6 is the Mayoral Minute Mildura Police Station. Councillor Durkin has declared an interest and is leaving the room. Look, as per the report, Mardia approached me in regards to this. They had concerns about the fact that they weren't attracting a police officer to the police station because of the poor facilities there for residents and secondary, the police station itself. I spoke with Phil Donato about this, our state member, and he suggested that I bring it to the meeting and would like a resolution from council, and then he would be able to take that to Parliament. So basically, like the residence there is over 100 years old. It's had very limited work done in those 100 years. It's small. It doesn't attract a family, which is needed in the small communities. A police officer with a family is what is best practice in these smaller towns, and that is why they're having a lot of difficulty attracting a police officer to the place. So I was more than happy to bring this to council on behalf of the community of Manildra to get a resolution to give to Phil Donato. Any discussion? Councillor Trevor's got you first. Councillor Nash.
Just in relation to what you're saying there, Mr. Mayor, I've made some investigations with an associate I know of the Police Association here at Orange, and it's much in our interest to get the letter in because there's a couple of options they have in relation to what they're going to do with that station. Unless there's a letter from us supporting the community and Mr. Donato, nothing may be done. So it's in our interest.
Councillor Nash.
I'd just like to thank the council for taking it on because, I knew that Mardia was very worried about it, and we do need to have a policeman in presence in our town, and thank you very much.
Councillor Weaver.
Yes, I totally agree. And when there's a town with an industry that it's got in its main street, I think it's imperative that they have a police officer there. Thank you.
Yeah, and I probably forgot to use the word not only attract but retain. I think the situation where they go there for a little while and they just then can't put up with the fact that the residence is as bad as what it is. They may have more children and outgrow the residence. So that's another issue, not just to attract, but it's also to retain them there. Any further discussion? I'll put that. All those in favour? Aye. Against? That's carried. Councillor Durkin, that was passed unanimously as per the recommendation. Okay, item 7 is the Merrill Minute Commonwealth Bank branch closure. You would have all seen in the media and social media and talk around town in regards to the announcement by the Commonwealth Bank Friday a week ago that they're closing both Molong and Blaney branches. I went straight on the attack with this. Came into the office here and had a meeting with Brad and the staff. There was a media campaign launched in conjunction with Blaney. We've also now in the process of probably securing a meeting with somebody high up in the Commonwealth Bank in regards to this. Still lobbying with the Mayor, Scott Ferguson, in regards to this. We've spoken with Andrew G and Phil Donato, both of us, on that day. We have asked Andrew G also to organise further meetings with his contacts with the banking industry. So that will be hopefully in the near future. We're not giving up hope of trying to change the mind of the Commonwealth Bank. I've met with a number of the business owners, the key stakeholders in business in Molong who do their banking there, and in a nutshell, to summarise, one of them is that he banks there 3 days a week. He sets his floats for his business at the start of the week and then banks his income. A significant amount of cash he banks those 3 times a week, and he said now that that will become a 2-hour chore, plus not to mention the security risk that he takes when travelling to Orange. So basically they say it's half an hour in there, you're half away from a major bank. Well, it's half an hour in, but it's half an hour finding the car parking spot, it's half an hour in the bank and it's half an hour home, minimum. So 2 hours out of his day that he has to find or pay somebody to do. And that's just one of the major business holders. So, yeah, open for discussion. As I said, we're hopeful that we can change their minds with people power, but we'll wait and see.
Not just the loss of the bank, but the loss of that ATM would be a tremendous loss to this town. That ATM, because my business is just up the road, basically has a queue every single day of the week.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It would be a monumental loss not to be able to have an ATM.
Yeah. Look, no, I'll just jump on a little bit more there and a little bit more background. I've spoken with the Australia Post outlet, and yeah, they can do small amounts of banking, but not large. They're not equipped to do large amounts of banking. And secondly, I think that they're not considering the fact that if people are going into Orange to do their banking, they're going to do other things in there. They're going to buy their groceries, they're going to buy their fuel, they're going to do other business in there, which affects our businesses out here. So,
and Gita lost a lot of custody, in the town itself. Yeah, in the town itself, because that's what people were doing. They were leaving town to do their banking, and that was it.
yeah.
I mean, luckily we have got an agency at our postage shop, but still do bigger business, you've got to leave town to do it.
Councillor Davison.
But you're also losing, not only losing business from the town, but you're also losing influence, which is probably one of the most important things. That Molong is unknown to many people outside Molong. And if you're going for a housing loan here, and that has to go from the branch manager through to the regional manager, the regional manager is not going to worry about it too much if he doesn't get any local input. So it'll affect businesses expanding, houses, and so on and such forth. It's a big loss for us. However, I looked at the other day at how much money we've got invested in the Commonwealth Bank, and it's a sizable amount of money. And I would like a report for the next meeting as to what the alternatives may be to maintain the A+ rating that we have, and also look towards other banks which may not be in town here yet, to see if they may be interested in setting up. I'm thinking about the Regional Australia Bank as one based out of Armidale. Don't know what their rating is though, can't find out. but there are other banks that are around that may be interested in setting up here with the advantage of having banking from the council.
Yeah, look, we have made inquiries into community-based banking facilities. Yeah, so we are putting that in place. But at this stage, I suggest that we want to try and fight the Commonwealth closure initially, but we still want to have that as a backup, naturally, yeah.
So I might just make one other comment on the Commonwealth Bank, that if it's not here and you actually want to travel into the Commonwealth Bank in Orange, they don't have tellers. You actually have to go inside the bank and start feeding your money into a machine. So if someone like the supermarket's coming in with loads of money, they'll be holding up one little machine forever. It's not just go to the... It's just another machine. So it's not a convenient way for anybody to bank just going into Orange.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I just endorse the comments of the fellow councillors and also refer to the press release from I think she's the regional manager for the Commonwealth Bank, which appeared in the Express last week, where it indicated that there are 3 ATMs, 2 of which are available 24/7, 35 kilometres away. That's all well and good if you all live in Molalong. The reality is the Commonwealth Bank here in Molalong services a much broader area than that. There's people like myself who live out of town on farms. We've got Cumnock, we've got Cadell, we've got Yeovil. People who prefer to come to Molalong in preference to battling their way through Orange. Yeah. The location of the Commonwealth Bank tellers in Orange are extremely inconvenient in comparison to down here. It was quoted to me last week that there are people who live in Orange who actually come to Molalong for the personal service that they get from the staff of the Commonwealth Bank. So I think you're dead right. We should do absolutely everything to fight the closure of this bank.
Through you, Mr Mayor, just in response to Councillor Davidson's request for a report, you'll note that we do a regular investments report, we don't only bank with Commonwealth Bank in regards to our investments. They're our trading bank, but any trading bank we can invest with, providing it's got the rating. So if you're after a list of the possible candidates to invest under Council's investment policy, we can supply that for you. But we do try and diversify. We're quite pragmatic. We go where the best interest rate is more so than where the whether it's a certain brand of bank, predominantly in our investment space. Obviously, our trading is a different matter, but investment we're not restricted to the Commonwealth. It could be National, Westpac, any bank that's offering a better rate, and that's what our finance people do. Shop around for the best rate when those term investments are coming off their term. But happy to take on board what you're saying.
Certainly, I hope we do that. And I'm looking at the investments that we have so far in the report, and bearing in mind that we have to have 50% of ours in A1 plus. Otherwise, we have something to say about it with the local government. But it's just an option of looking at it carefully and placing it on record that I'm not very happy about the Commonwealth Bank pulling the pin.
Councillor Nash.
I'd just like to say that I really think that these banks, they make you sick really. There's just no customer service anymore, and definitely, and Peter said lots of small towns, well, Manilda people do use the Commonwealth Bank here too. You'd think Molalong and Blaney would be big enough for them to make enough to keep it open. They do make you cranky, don't they?
All right, just finally, I'd just like to put it on the record too that, and I've said this in media interviews, that the closure of the Commonwealth Bank is really, really affecting the elderly people in our community. We have a lot of elderly people, vulnerable people, that go to the bank every day and withdraw cash. I had a lady approach me the other day and said that she spent 45 minutes in there with that personalised service of the bank manager to set up her account to pay her HCF. She can't do that on the internet herself. She has no internet access. She doesn't do it. And she has no access to get into Orange other than a public transport. So that's where it really hurts. All right. Any further discussion on that? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 8 is Committee of the Whole. Can I have somebody move that, please? Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Trevors. Does anybody wish to call any items in Committee of the Whole? Nothing? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. Item 9 is grouping of reports, and we are grouping items 10 and 11.
We'll move that.
Moved by Councillor Durkin, second by Councillor Jones. Everybody happy with that? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. Item 12 is Anzac Day 2021. Could I have somebody move that, please? Moved by Councillor Oldham, second by Councillor Jones. All right, I will just go through the service timetable and just get councillors to nominate their attendance if they wish. So we'd start at the top Boranor at 1 o'clock, service at Boranor CDY Hall, followed by family barbecue lunch. Councillor Davidson and Councillor Oldham? Yep, very good. We have Canowindra, which we have no details as of today about Canowindra at this stage.
We have a dawn service, we
Yep.
have a 9:30 service at the County Solomon Memorial Hospital, and we have the 11 o'clock service. At this time, I believe dawn service is not happening.
So we've got the two other services, yep. Who's available for those? Councillor Weaver. And we've got the other two away. So at this stage, you're right for them?
Yeah.
Thank you.
If I can just ask a question,
Yep.
because I'm tied up with the RSL too, in helping with the brief. Would it be okay if I asked an employee from works in Canada to Maybury?
Can't see a problem there.
I have no problem with that, councillor, if obviously we let them know that we're doing it. If you could let me know who's doing it and we can pass that on, because I know you go to them direct, but they might just want to hear from us that it's okay, but that's more than happy.
Moving down the list, we've got Kidale, 10 a.m. service at Kidale District War Memorial Gates. Councillor Travers.
I always attend that one. Also attend the 6 a.m. dawn service. And if we just ask if the routes for both those could be forwarded over to the Kidale office, which is normally done, but yeah.
So you're talking about Tugong?
Tugong, I attend that one,
Yep.
and I attend also the Kidale.
Kidale, yep. Cumnock, 6 a.m. Dawn service at Memorial, still to be confirmed at this stage. So, Councillor Batten's happy with that one. Eugowra, 10:45, march from the corner of North and Broad Street to the Cenotaph in Memorial Park, 11 a.m. service. Councillor Durgan?
I've done Eugowra a couple of times, we'll have to go again.
Yep, thank you. Manildra, 10:15, Councillor Nash?
Yes, thank you.
Molong is the service at the Cenotaph on the village green. I'm happy to go with that. Councillor Jones, you'll be there too, Bobby? Yep. Obley, 6:45, service held at Obley War Memorial. Yep. Councillor Mullins, thank you. And Yeovil is a 5:45 a.m. march from the Royal Hotel to Yeovil Memorial Hall. And that's still to be confirmed. And then the march from Yeovil Central School to the War Memorial Hall at 10:30 at Yeovil. It's like you. Councillor Davison, very good. All done. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Aye. Against? That's carried. All righty. The item 13 is the sponsorship program, which we will just deal with the item that Councillor Batten's declared interest because he's leaving the room, which is item 1 of that item. This Molong Advancement Group, sponsorship $15,000 for a 1-year term for $5,000 for each of those 3 events. Any discussion on that at all?
Are we going to move these
Oh, we move it,
individually?
sorry. You
Yeah, I'll
moving it?
move this
Yep.
one if you're happy.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on that at all? Everybody happy with it?
I just,
You have a question?
It's purely a question. That $5,000 is mostly in service fees, is that right? For things like road closures and that sort of stuff? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
That's right, councillor. That's a means to an end in some ways because it's reasonably expensive for council to support that event, and they kindly seek that sponsorship to support that.
Councillor Jones?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll just briefly give a bit of background on this one for councillors and the community's information. So Mulling Advancement Group each year pick a charity or a cause to fund. In previous years, not last year, the year before, last year was obviously affected by COVID, but the year before, they put money, all were working around the lights program at the rec. This year they've decided to contribute to the Sensory Garden at the hospital, so contributing quite a lot of money to that. So that funding will not only benefit Mulong residents, but those in other areas across the district. And yeah, it's obviously $5,000 per event. There's a lot of work which we think, or which MAG thanks council for doing in terms of road closures and signage and that. But yeah, that's what the money raised used for. It obviously attracts a lot, as you would be aware, attracts a lot of people to the town, attracts a lot of people to the main street from passing by or here on holiday. So it's a great event, I think, or great cause, I think.
Councillor Nash?
Oh, I'm quite happy for the money to go to MAG, and it's just as long as through the Shire, the same thing happens if anybody else needs help too, please. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, nothing further on that. I'll just put that item. All those in favour of that? Against? That's carried. Councillor Batten, that item regarding MAG was passed as per the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very good decision.
All right, item 2 of that particular item, which is Orange Field Day Co-op Limited. Discussion on that. Councillor Durkin.
Did I move it for this one too?
No, we've moved the
Moved
whole
them on.
item.
Yep.
You moved that, so if you wish to speak for it, you can speak for it.
No, I'm just happy. I'm just glad to see the field days happen again with all this rain. Obviously, some
Yep.
people who own sites and sell tractors are going to be looking to flog a few off.
Right, so no further discussion. I'll just put that little section, the 15,000 for 1 year to the Orange Field Days. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. So subsection 3, Canowindra Challenge Incorporated, 10,000 for 1 year term. Any discussion on that at all? No, we've got to move in the whole item. These are just the subsections. Okay.
Well,
Councillor Nash.
I just think that everyone in the room here is quite happy to promote all these events because they're great for the Shire.
Yep. Very good. No further discussion. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 14 is the Events Assistance Program. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, second by Councillor Weaver. The council approved 5-1 for Blubula Endurance Riders. Any discussion at all on that? Everybody's happy?
Yes.
Very good.
Can I just make a
Comment?
comment?
With your mic on, you can.
Yeah, no, I'm in full agreement with it, but the event is called the Canowindra Challenge. Is that right? That's quite confusing when you've got the balloon challenge.
And we've moved on from that item.
Sounds confusing. The name is called, the event's actually called Endurance Ride called. Through you, Mr Mayor, I'd say that is likely the name of the event, and maybe they have challenges in different towns. So unfortunately, it may, if the could be other sorts of challenges in Canandra as well, besides balloon, and that's where it comes from. But you're quite right, it could be, particularly if balloon challenge sees that we might have given them 500 instead of the 10,000 they asked for, but I'm sure we'll clear it up for them.
I'm sure if they only got 500, they'd be back quick. Thank you, Councillor Weaver. Any further discussion on that? No. I'll put that. All those in favour? Aye. Against? That's carried. Item 15 is the Agara voluntary purchase. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Durkin. Any discussion at all on that? I'll put that. All those in favour? Aye. Against? That's carried. Item 16 is the funding offer for replacement of Gowan Bridge. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Travers, seconded by Councillor Jones. Was it? Yep. Yep. Any discussion on that at all? You can ask a question.
I'd like to ask a question of the director. Is this for the replacement of just the top of the bridge, or the whole structure? I'm a little bit confused, and I'm easily confused.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, a structural assessment has been undertaken from a qualified structural engineer, and he has determined that the structural elements below the bridge deck are of sufficient capacity and condition to not be replaced. So this program is just for replacement of the bridge deck itself.
Thank you very much.
And a little update, it's underwater today. Yeah. Any further discussion on that at all? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 17 is roads resumption, Charlotte Street, Canandra. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Durkin, seconded by Councillor Weaver. Any discussion on that? Councillor Weaver's here. Any discussion on that? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 18, questions for next meeting. Could I have somebody move that first of all? Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Weaver. I guess I'd like to probably formalise that question for next meeting that you asked Councillor Davidson.
Yes, that question, if I may, just ask for a brief report on the investments. Thank you very much.
Any further questions? Councillor Travers.
Just before the meeting, I was having a talk with Councillor Batten. Is there any possibility that, in relation to the mountain bike track, that we actually get some representative from the mountain bike riders in Orange to see what their views on it is?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I suppose we could make an approach. Would it be best first to wait for this monthly update and then we can picture a way forward? Is that probably a better way forward? Okay, and we can ask whether a particular group that we could talk to, or they may have some information on that. I'll take that to Orange and see if they can bring a bit of input from them.
I was just asking the question because I'd just like a little bit more information on how they intend to use the mountain bike track.
Any further questions for next meeting? No? I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? That's carried. Item 19 is the business paper items for noting. Could I just have a mover, please, first up? Councillor Weaver's a mover. Councillor Travers, you're lit up. Are you happy with that? Sorry. No? Councillor Batten, seconder. Thank you. Does anybody wish to call out any items from the papers? Item 6. Yep. Is there anything anyone else wishes to call? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. I'll call item 6 on that then, which is the remote attendance at council meetings.
Mr Mayor, if I may, it's purely just to put it on record again that I think that we have an opportunity, particularly country councils, of being able to partake in council meetings when there are days like today when you might have a bit of a flood somewhere, and if you're on the other side of the bridge we just spoke about, you couldn't get in here. And this would allow us to be able to do that in exceptional circumstances, or when people are laid up, they might have a busted leg or something, can't get into the council meeting, they can still take part in it. And I think that it's worthwhile just putting that into context and thinking that this is probably written around Sydney councillors who can generally get to a meeting without too much trouble, but out in the country it's a bit harder sometimes. So I'm just thinking that we might, although this particular item they say is not compulsory, we should just be putting that into a formal area and saying that we can, under exceptional circumstances, have councillors attend a meeting remotely. I mean, there's nothing like being together and being able to talk things through, but sometimes that might be not possible, and this is an opportunity for us to take that. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, all right. I guess it's... Okay.
It's through you, Mr Mayor. We are working on this, and there's two elements to it. Obviously, is the governance element and the technical element. Whilst we've scrambled with COVID to get our technology up to speed, it does get problematic, particularly if more than one councillor is away and needing to come in, and the problems of that. On a governance level, I haven't had a chance, and I've got the OLG representatives coming out to visit me in a week or two. I'm still confused how confidential works. You know, you got to think of when people are up to no good, and if you happen to have and it certainly wouldn't happen to this councillor, but other councils where potentially developers and things are in play, who's in a room, who's around. So I'm not sure. I haven't really heard much about that, and probably I haven't researched enough. But that's something I would like to know. On a more ongoing basis, how we manage those things as they come online. But it's certainly something we do have to look to, because, like you say, it's going to be more and more prevalent. And in a shire such as ours, where our councillors do have to travel, no matter pretty much wherever you live, you end up travelling when you're a combined council. If we can minimise that, that's better. So we'll be looking at it.
Councillor Trevis.
Yeah, I have, just to give a bit of more information, an article I read recently was saying that the idea of the online is to try and get mothers that have children that can't make meetings, things like that, which is very commendable. But again, as with you, Mr GM, the legalities behind doing a division online, how do you sort of record that was actually done? So there are some issues there, but I think overall, the day we're moving to is the technical age.
All right. Councillor Nash.
I personally think that it might be a way of people could say, oh, well, blow it, I won't go today, I'll just get online. I think that it's much better to be here in person.
Any further discussion on that?
If I could just summarise it, I agree with everything that's been said, and there is a problem with the confidentiality, but we did run it before with that in mind as well during the COVID era, and we could do so again if something catastrophic happens again. But it is an opportunity. The only reason I'm putting it forward is an opportunity for us to be able to say, yes, we could do that under exceptional circumstances. Nothing more than that. I'm not saying that we have, if there are councillors who don't want to come, we'll soon weed them out, or you'll soon weed them out anyway later on, and ask them why they weren't there. The confidentiality thing, I haven't got any solution to that because I don't know. I'm not technically sufficiently qualified in that, so good luck.
Well, thank you. That's been discussed, so I'll put that we move on. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. We've got now item 20, notice of urgency. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Nash, seconded by Councillor Weaver. Does anybody have anything of an urgent nature? Thank you. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 21 is Committee of the Whole section of the meeting. We don't have anything, but we need to have that moved. Moved by Councillor Oldham, seconded by Councillor Trevors. We do not have anything, as I said, in the Committee of the Whole, so I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. All right, I'll now close the ordinary meeting and